My role today is to be a friend of Gary Fazzino and a friend of the History Museum. And I know many of you knew Gary, but some perhaps not, some probably better than others. And he really was the walking encyclopedia of Palo Alto history. There wasn't anything you could ask him that would stump him. And so if you just happen to want to know the score of the 1936 Pally Sequoia Little Big Game, he knew it. And if he didn't know it off the top of his head, he had it in many of what I called his useless information books, where he had collected all of this information over the years. And that was just, whether it was the sports or the politics. In the political season, he would be talking about the recall election of 1967 and how it was a sort of a watershed moment in Palo Alto politics. And he'd probably then find a way to connect it to the work of the Prohibitionist Party in Palo Alto back in the late 1910s. And there was always a way to connect whatever the controversy of the moment was with Palo Alto's history. And Gary, I want to say, Gary had a deep love of history, and Palo Alto history in particular, but it wasn't just as an abstract notion. It wasn't just as something that gave him personal pleasure and satisfaction. It was that he was keenly aware of the fact that by understanding our history, we could understand the challenges we face today, and we could plan more effectively for the future. So as we talk about the Palo Alto History Museum, which really was a great passion of his, I think most of you know he served on the board of trustees. When we talk about the Palo Alto History Museum, it's not a place that is trying to freeze a moment or set of moments in time. That's not Gary's notion of history, and it's certainly not the notion of history that the History Museum has. It is a place where, by virtue of having hung on to a bit of our history, we can be more fully informed about the challenges we face as a community today and think about where we want to head as a community. This is a wonderful place because of the people who came before us. Gary was keenly aware of that. He was always ready to credit someone from a year gone by, a decade gone by, a prior century, with the foresight to invest in a municipal utility system, a foothills park, a Baylands, a library system. There aren't that many places with 60,000 people that have 5 different libraries that you can go to at a moment's notice. And Gary was acutely aware of the fact that all of these decisions had some historic precedent, a moment when somebody had the right idea, the vision for the community, and the will to make it real. And so his notion of a history museum was, let's capture that, let's learn from it, and let's use it to go forward. So, going forward, where are we with the History Museum today? If you are like me, you drive by that building and you say, candidly, what the hell's going on? Nothing seems to be happening. In fact, a lot has happened. There's a marvelously strong board. There has been a fundraising effort underway for the last several years, and of a $7.2 million goal to actually rehab the facility and make it ready to become a museum, $4.8 million has already been pledged. Yes, no small accomplishment. And if you think about these last few years, $4.8 million pledged under very difficult circumstances, which shows the commitment that I think people in the community have to the facility. That being said, it's kind of time to get it done. And working with the City Council, the museum has come to an agreement that they're going to try and round up the last $2.4 million to get to that $7.2 million target by the middle of next year. So it's hustle up time.